Well, we're in from work, and it's getting on about 6 o'clock, so I think it's time to fix me and Mr. Brown something to eat. And I had thawed out some chicken legs, and you know, I don't fry chicken a lot anymore, but when I do, it's usually when the kids are going to be over or something. But I was really wanting some fried chicken, but then I got to thinking, let's just kick it up a notch and let's make some smothered chicken. And it's just an old Southern recipe, and I know there's several different recipes out there, but I just want to show you how I do it and how we make a pan of smothered chicken. And when it's done, it's got this really good gravy, and the chicken's just really tender. So we're going to get started. There's not a whole lot of ingredients. There's quite a few spices, but anybody that knows Miss Lori knows that I love my spices. So, but anyways, I'm going to give you a little runaround of what kind of spices I've got in. Now, I've got self-rising flour. There's about 1.5 cups in here, and you can use all-purpose if you want to. It don't make no big difference. I find that self-rising flour, because it has, you know, just a little bit of salt and baking soda and stuff in it. I think it just does it better when it's frying up. But anyways, I've got a teaspoon of salt. I've got a teaspoon of black pepper. I've got a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. I've got a teaspoon of onion powder. That's poultry seasoning. A teaspoon of poultry seasoning. A teaspoon of celery seed. Sorry about that. A tablespoon of garlic powder. You don't have to put that much, but I'm telling you, you're going to want to if you like garlic. And I got a teaspoon of smoked paprika. So salt, pepper, celery seed, onion powder, poultry seasoning, garlic powder, and smoked paprika. And 1.5 cups of self-rising flour or all-purpose flour. And I'm just gonna, now I can tell you if you're not wanting to use flour, I watched my friend from Grammie Nae Nae, and that's a channel. You need to go check her out, Grammie Nae Nae, because I'm telling you, if you just want to feel good and have a smile on your face, go watch her channel. She's just, I just love her to death. But anyways, she's been trying to stay away from just regular white bleached flour, and she used oat flour. She just ground up her own oats and fried chicken with it. So you could do that too if you need to. But I'm just going to mix all these seasonings up with my flour real good. And I've got 1/3 cup of oil here in my pan. And we're not, we're just going to brown the chicken. We're not going to just cook it till all the way done. I'm just going to brown it on both sides. And then once we get the gravy and everything that it's going to be smothered in, it's going to cook in that gravy, and that's when it's going to cook till it's done. So I don't have a whole lot of grease in here, just a little bit of, I've got peanut oil in here, and just use whatever kind of oil you want. So I'm going to take, and I'm using chicken legs, of course. You can use chicken thighs or chicken breast. When I'm making a dish like this, I like to use dark meat, but you can use chicken breast, and you can even do chicken wings. My 2 favorite parts of a chicken is the legs and the wings. So the people like my kids that like the chicken breast, they really enjoy that because they get the white meat. Mr. Brown likes the thighs and the chicken wings. But I'm just going to take my legs and I'm going to coat them a little bit in the flour. And this is probably about 1.5 pounds of chicken legs. Not sure, I can't remember, I didn't look on the package. So I'm just going to put my chicken in here. And like I said, we're not going to cook it all the way through. We're just going to brown it on both sides. And then we will cook it all the way through in our gravy. This is such an easy, and I can remember my mother-in-law making this like on Sunday dinners because really and truly, you know, she could kind of get this together, put the chicken back in the pot, put all of her gravy and stuff that she made on top of the chicken, put the lid on it, and sometimes she would even stick in the oven, but you can just do it right here on top of your stove top, or you can stick in the oven. And she could go about her business of doing everything else. But smothered chicken, you know, it's got that gravy, that good gravy in it, and so tender, and just tastes so good. And it's not something that I make a lot, and I don't know why, because it's really good. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. I'm going to let these brown, and once I get them all browned on both sides, we'll come back and we'll start making our gravy and stuff that is going to smother these chicken legs really good. Okay, you can see that I've got the chicken legs brown on both sides, and you can see that they're not done all the way. But you just want to get them brown on both sides. Take them out of your pan. You still got a little bit of oil left in there. Now, when I was frying this chicken legs up, I put about another tablespoon of oil in there. You may have to do that too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a medium onion that I've cut up, sliced it up, and I'm going to just cook them in this leftover oil. Let them cook. I'm not going to caramelize them. I'm not going to cook them down that much. I'm just going to kind of cook them till they're just a little bit tender, because they're going to cook the rest of the way in the gravy while the chicken finishes cooking. I love to do pork chops this way too. So it's pretty much the same idea, same concept, except you're using pork chops. You talk about good, tender pork chops. I'm making some mashed potatoes, and I've got some greens that I'm warming up over here in the pot that I had canned. Last year, about the end of May, in my high tunnel, my kale and my spinach and some of my greens, like my Swiss chard and stuff, was starting to bolt and go to seed. So I gathered it all up and I canned it. And I had people, and I do have a video, and I'll find it and I'll put that link below. And I had people that contacted me and said, I had no idea that you can can greens. Well, I'll tell you, I did. And we've had greens all winter. It does take out probably, because you process it, some of the vitamins, but it's better than just letting them go to waste. And I can't do that, and it's better than buying something out of the store. You know, when it gets to the point you just have to preserve stuff, you just have to do it. Whether if it sucks some of the nutrients out of it or not, you have to do it. You can't keep everything fresh all the time, even though you'd like to. So I'm just going to continue to, I can feel them until they're getting a little bit tender. So you just want to do this for a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn my greens down. I've got a big, y'all know me, I've got a big heaping teaspoon of minced garlic. Put in as much as you want. And just kind of stir that around. Cook that just a little bit. Can you imagine how good this house smells right now? I don't want to cook my garlic too much and it'll get it bitter. So now what I'm going to do, garlic's cooked for about a minute, is I'm going to take my leftover flour and I'm going to sprinkle about 3 good tablespoons over all this. Stir that up and just let the flour cook just a little bit, just like you're making regular gravy. Kind of get that raw taste out of your flour. Have any of y'all ever ate smothered chicken before? If you haven't, you have got to do it. And it's a really good dinner to serve Sundays or something like that. Okay, we got that done. I'm going to take 2 cups of chicken broth. We're just going to pour that in there. Now I'm going to turn my heat up to about medium. And I'm going to let this cook for a couple minutes. You can see it's already looking good. So I'm going to let that cook for a couple minutes and we'll be back. Okay, that's been cooking for about 2 minutes and you can see how it's already starting to thicken up. Had me a good sopping piece of bread, I'd sop that gravy up right now. But we got to put a cup of milk. I'm going to stir this up. Then I'm going to let this cook for a couple minutes before we add our chicken back to it. And then once we add our chicken back to it and make sure that the chicken's good and coated, we'll put the lid on it, turn it down to about a medium-low, and then we're going to let it cook and smother in that gravy for about 35 to 40 minutes. Okay, our gravy's been cooking for about 3 minutes. I'm going to stick chicken legs back in there. I didn't know if y'all noticed, a lot of y'all been asking questions about my kitchen. Yes, I ain't got my cabinets done yet, but we're working on them. My son-in-law's pretty much got them done, but we're going to have to wait till this weekend to probably get them hauled to the house because he's been working on them at the shop. And we'll have to get them in the house and get the sink hooked up. And I'll have to paint them. I still got to paint them, but it's getting closer and I'm getting really excited. So I'm going to kind of turn these over a little bit. Just kind of get them coated. And I'm going to turn my heat down to about a medium-low. Yummy. It smells so good. So medium-low. I'm going to put my lid on it. And I'm going to let it cook on top of the stove for about 35 to 40 minutes. What I do is I like to take my thermometer and check my meat to make sure the internal temperature is right. So we'll be back and we'll check it and see if it's done. Okay, let's check our chicken. I think it's pretty much done. I'm going to check the temp in it. Yeah. The chicken's done and smelling really good. So, this took about 30 minutes. If you were cooking thighs, or breast, it would take probably 35 to 40 minutes. So I'm going to get everything else ready and we'll make us a plate. We'll see how good the smothered chicken is. What's it taste like, Paul?
Tastes delicious. That's what it tastes like. I done worked up an appetite. I'm hungry. It's so hot I can't hardly eat it.
I know, it's hot.
But it's good.
It's tender and all that good gravy in it.
Man.
Good stuff. So I hope, yeah.
Greens are good.
Fresh greens from the garden from last year. Yes.
Good stuff.
He's spoiled. Yes, he is. Guys, I hope y'all like this recipe. I hope y'all try it because smothered chicken is really good. It's a good southern dish made by southern ladies and gentlemen for years.
And good for you.
And good for you, you bet. We'll see you guys in a couple of days. God bless. We love y'all.